The lines on their bodies look like lines on topographic maps. Just on the tip of his nose, he has this little white dot. This is like the heart of our program.
Hi everyone, my name's Emily February. I'm also known as Ranger M. I'm an environmental educator and communicator, and I get to talk to a lot of different people about all things nature and conservation. I love to knowledge share, and that's what I want to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M. You may remember in Season 1, we spoke with Scott Gillingwater, a species at risk biologist from Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, about Turtle Species Ontario and how his team is helping re-establish their populations, and how conservation authorities and other organizations are working to also restore habitat for these species. Just to recap, Ontario has 8 native turtle species that are all listed as species at risk. This means they're at risk of their population decreasing to potentially the point of extinction. So Scott and his team at the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority told us about their work with the eastern spiny softshell turtle and the captive hatch and release program, where they go and they find turtle eggs, they incubate them, and then they release them later on in the summer, and how this program is helping restore turtle populations across Ontario. So today we are meeting with the biology team at Clair Region Conservation Authority to talk again about turtles and how their work is happening along the Sydenham River. So today they are getting ready to release baby turtles back into their native habitat. So let's go catch up with them before they leave. Well, thank you for joining us, Erin. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Clair Conservation Authority.
Sure, thanks for having me today. I'm the Director of Biology at Clair Region Conservation Authority, and at the Authority I help with a number of different aquatic programs. One of those is the captive hatch and release program for spiny softshell turtles.
In Season 1, we got a really good overview of the captive hatch and release program from Scott Gillingwater with Upper Thames Region Conservation Authority. But I was just wondering if you could tell us how it differs for St. Clair and then also like the Sydenham River.
So it's pretty similar actually, because the two programs were started together in the 1990s with surveys of the Sydenham River, and we've worked in partnership since the very beginning. I guess where it's different is we are working in a different river, which would have different stressors. So London has a big city, the City of London, that brings with it people and angling pressure, higher amounts of angling pressure or potential for poaching, whereas the Sydenham River is generally more remote. So our stressors still include poaching and angling, but also the pressure from livestock trampling is large, as well as predation from raccoons and other animal predators.
I know it's really kind of difficult sometimes to keep these programs running. So what do you depend on to make sure you can go another year and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we're lucky to get donations from corporations. So Enbridge Gas, their Fueling Futures grant program provides money for us, as well as the provincial and federal governments. So the Species at Risk Stewardship Program from the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks, as well as the Habitat Stewardship Program from Environment Climate Change Canada also provides us funding. But last and not least, local volunteers and stewards who donate hundreds of hours of their time, either reporting turtles to us or actually watching and telling us when they see nests that need to be recovered.
Well, thanks for chatting with me today, Erin. We're going to catch up with Craig. True or false? Less than 1 in 100 turtle eggs will hatch and make it to adulthood. True or false? Less than 1 in 100 turtle eggs will hatch and make it to adulthood. True. Saving the life of even one turtle can make a big difference to the population. Thanks for joining us, Craig. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Clair Region Conservation Authority.
Sure, it's really nice to be here. So my title is a conservation biologist, and I work mainly in aquatic ecosystems, typically with freshwater fish, freshwater mussels, and freshwater turtles.
So obviously you know a lot about the turtles we're talking about today. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about the history of the captive hatch and release program with the Clair Conservation Authority.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have to actually go back to the 90s of when this program sort of had its birth, needed to find out where these turtles were nesting. So there were the visual encountering surveys done where people would canoe down the river, spot the turtles, find out where they congregate at different times of the year. Then once this information was established, took quite a long time, in 2016, the captive hatch and releasing program was set up where we would go out and collect eggs that were at risk. To give you an idea of sort of how the succession has gone on, in 2016 there were 67 eggs collected total. Wow. And now in 2022 we hit the 3,500 mark.
Holy!
With 1,800 of those being the endangered spiny softshell turtle.
That's truly amazing. That's nice you can have that quantitative data to show how successful and how needed this program is. So to do this program, do you have a lot of partners other than funders that Aaron spoke to us about, but do you work with partners?
Yeah, so we actually work with two main partners, which is Scott Gillingwater and his team at the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, and then we also work with Brian Salt at Salthaven. That's
awesome. I was just wondering if you have any words of wisdom or why exactly this program is necessary, and beyond the fact that turtles are awesome and we should help them, of course, but why does this program keep going?
So they're definitely awesome. I wholeheartedly agree. So this program is a result of an ecosystem that's unbalanced. It's easy to get caught up in the cuteness. You look at this bin and there's all these baby turtles, but in reality we shouldn't be doing this. They should be reproducing naturally, effectively in their ecosystem. So this work is honestly the last resort. The bigger picture is looking at the impacts on the habitat as a whole. So hopefully this work will stop at some point and these turtles will be able to continue what they've done for millions of years.
I appreciate that sentiment, and like hopefully my job won't be necessarily sometime too. Like we want our environment to balance out and get to where it was one day. But let's still check out some turtles.
Absolutely.
True or false? Turtles have a deep cultural significance to the First Nation peoples of Canada. True or false? Turtles have a deep cultural significance to the First Nation peoples of Canada. True. In the Anishinaabe creation story, North America was formed on the back of a turtle, which is why Turtle Island is the name for North America by the First Nation communities. Thanks for joining me today, Sarah. I was just wondering if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your role at St. Clair Region Conservation Authority.
Hi everyone, I am a watershed health technician here at St. Clair, and I've been with the authority for just over a year. My work in the summer is a lot of work with turtles, mussels, and fish. And those are a few of my favorite things.
Awesome. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about the turtle species that you catch through the Captive Hatch and Release program, and then the 3 species that you have here today.
All right, so today our first species is this guy right here. So this is the eastern spiny softshell turtle, and this is an endangered species in Ontario. So this is the focus of our program. This is like the heart of our program, and the other species we also help out, but this is our main species.
I find that they kind of look like little pancakes.
They do, they do. Don't try and eat them though, they don't. They're not as tasty as pancakes.
Not as tasty. They kind of have some funny distinguishing features, like its nose.
Yeah, so their little nose is like that, and sometimes people refer to them looking like a snake, like they have a little snake neck and nose. And when we release them, you'll see when we put them in the water, they're going to burrow down deep and then have just their nose peeking out.
Okay, so it's kind of like a snorkel.
Yeah.
Lets them
little scuba divers
breathe a bit easier, I guess. What other turtles do you have today?
So our next species is going to be the snapping turtle.
I know why this one gets the name snapping. Obviously, it snaps at people. But yeah, tell us a bit about this little guy.
Yeah, so the reason they snap at people is because unlike some other species of turtles, they can't pull their head and their limbs all completely into their shell to protect themselves. So that's why they're going to snap at you. They're just trying to protect themselves. Nothing malicious about it. And if you look at this little guy, you can see really well, just on the tip of his nose, he has this little white dot, and that's called the egg tooth. So that's what the turtles use to help them get out of the egg.
Is this one endangered in Ontario?
So this is a species of special concern in Ontario, which all of our turtle species are species at risk in Ontario. We're worried about all of them.
This little guy's obviously pretty small, but how big do snapping turtles get? They're like one of the biggest, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So they can get as big as like a garbage can lid.
Wow! So they get pretty big. I bet they live pretty long too.
Yes, a lot of snapping turtles can actually live to be over 100 years old.
Wow, little dinosaurs.
For sure.
All right, what's up next?
Our third turtle of the day is going to be the map turtle.
Woo! Well, aren't these guys just adorable? How did they get their name?
So these, our little map turtles, are called map turtles because the lines on their bodies look like the contour lines on topographic maps.
So I've always been curious, what do turtles eat?
So these little guys, when they're this young, they're going to be looking more at insects, and then as they grow up, they're going to be looking for mussels, clams, and crayfish.
Oh wow,
all
really
the
crunchy
stuff. Yeah.
Doesn't sound the most delicious, but okay.
Once you get in the inside, though,
True.
they're nice and soft.
Well, we did chat about mussels in episode 1, so that will be a good way to kind of learn more about what turtles eat and, I don't know, how an ecosystem works together.
Yeah, it's very interconnected always.
I was wondering, Sarah, if you could show us the right way on releasing some turtles.
Sure, let me grab my bucket of turtles.
Well, Sarah, I was wondering what you kind of look for. What do you think about when you're releasing baby turtles?
When I'm releasing them, I'm looking for a place that I think they're going to be safe. So we want to make sure that they go somewhere that they're going to be safe from predators, both wild and human. So sometimes young turtles, even old turtles, even turtle eggs are collected by poachers. So when we release our turtles, we don't tell anyone the location of the release site. Same for the nesting sites. We don't tell them where they nest, just to protect them. And when I'm selecting my site, I'm looking for a nice vegetated area where the turtles can hide under the vegetation, where there's some muck maybe for them to squish into to hide.
Yeah, I'm assuming that little guys like that look pretty delicious to a lot of predators.
Oh, for
so
sure.
Getting them under vegetation is a priority. Awesome, well, let's see a preview. Well, I just wanted to say thank you, Erin, Craig, and Sarah, for sharing your captive hatch and release program with me. And I really appreciate the work you're doing, as I'm sure everyone does. And yeah, thanks for joining us and sharing some baby turtles with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. How many native species of turtles call Ontario home? How many native species of turtles call Ontario home? 8 species of turtles call Ontario home. They are the Blandings turtle, the eastern musk turtle, the northern map turtle, the painted turtle, snapping turtle, spiny softshell turtle, spotted turtle, and the wood turtle. Since we filmed the first portion of this episode, I was updated by St. Clair Conservation Authority on their 2022 field season and turtle numbers. We can see the data from 2016 to 2022 for Blandings, map, painted, snapping, softshell, and spotted turtles. Just to recap, Blandings turtles are listed as threatened in Ontario, northern map turtles are listed as special concern, painted turtles are listed as special concern, snapping turtles are listed as special concern, spiny softshell turtles are listed as endangered, and spotted turtles are listed as endangered. Now, the difference between these terms like special concern, threatened, and endangered really comes down to the severity of the threats facing these turtles, as well as their population numbers. We remember extinct means a species that no longer exists, extirpated is a species that no longer exists in the wild in Ontario, but occurs elsewhere. Endangered is a species facing imminent extirpation or extinction, like the spiny softshell, who's endangered in Ontario but can still be found throughout the United States. Threatened is a species that is likely to become endangered if limiting factors are not reversed. And finally, special concern is a species that, because of certain characteristics, it is particularly sensitive to human activities or natural events. So to circle back to the graph, today we're going to focus on spiny softshell, and by this graph we can see that the amount of hatchlings being released in the wild is increasing. So this makes us believe that the population is booming, which is the ultimate goal, but unfortunately we're not there yet. This graph is showing that skill and effort of our biologists and the people working in the field is increasing. So they're being able to understand spiny softshells a bit better. So they can find the nesting areas better. They can realize when and where they nest every year. So our biologists are getting better at finding the hatchlings and then therefore incubating them and releasing them. There's still a lot of obstacles that these eggs face, which one is predation. And predation means predators. So this could be coyotes, skunks, raccoons, or foxes. And predation at these known sites for St. Clair Conservation is up to 99%. So this means that if St. Clair biologists are not able to collect the eggs, those eggs have a 1% chance of surviving that night. So these predators have such a great sense of smell and ability to find the eggs that 99% of the time, they will find the eggs. So our biologists are able to get there more often now to collect those eggs. Some people think the solution is just to remove predators from the scenario, but we actually have to solve other threats first. Other threats that face our native turtles is development along our shorelines and rivers, which actually allow for these predator populations to flourish as they do well in human-impacted landscapes. Other threats include fishing bycatch, boat collisions, illegal poaching or the pet trade, and disturbance and loss of habitat, whether it's from increased agricultural and recreational use, trampled by other animals like cows, or the introduction of invasive species like Phragmites. Without mitigation of these threats, the population and the species as a whole is still at risk of declining. And even what our biologists do in the field by finding the eggs and incubating them is a last-ditch effort. We still have to mitigate these threats to help our populations of turtles. Another way that St. Clair does this is their stewardship team works with farmers and landowners for implementing best management practices on their farming landscape, as well as habitat improvement projects like wetlands or fencing along riverbeds so the cows can't get in the river. All of these efforts help our turtle populations. So thanks to the St. Clair Conservation team for providing that update on their 2022 field season. And to wrap up this episode, I wanted to tell you about a great organization. So the Ontario Turtle Conservation Centre, which is a non-for-profit up in Peterborough, which is a bit too far to have on the show, but I wanted to tell you about them anyways. They are an organization that works to educate the public about turtles and their importance to our environments, as well as they work to protect and conserve turtles and their habitats. They also operate a turtle hospital. And they're a non-for-profit, so this means they're always looking for volunteers, whether that is volunteering at their hospital with whatever they need, maybe even education outreach events, or even they have the Turtle Taxi program. And that means if you're in a certain area of Ontario and someone reaches out to the OTCC about a hurt turtle and you're nearby, you can literally bring the turtle closer to the hospital in any way. And if that's not cool, I don't know what is. They also share lots of fun facts about turtles on their website and social media. And I'm a big fan of fun facts. So here's one on the eastern spiny softshell turtle. Did you know that the spiny softshell, like the snapping turtle actually, can't bring its arms and legs in their shell like a painted turtle? They just don't have the room or actually a full shell on their belly. So predators know to flip them on their backs, and that way they can get at their fatty bits. But our spinies have adapted and have incredibly long necks that they can actually use to flip themselves back over and scurry away from their predators. Another way you can help our native turtle species is helping them cross the road. Road mortality is one of the biggest threats facing our turtles today. Remember to only do so if it's safe for yourself. And then if you're still kind of afraid to touch a turtle, which is okay, try and find a branch or even the snow brush from your car and put it in the turtle's face, and it'll actually grab onto that and you can kind of drag it across the road. And always remember to put the turtle into the direction that it's already traveling. They know where they're going. Finally, we have a video from the Ontario Turtle Conservation Centre on different techniques on how to carry a turtle across the road. Thanks for joining me today, and until next time, see you in nature.
Hi, welcome to the Ontario Turtle Conservation Centre. Today we're going to talk about how to safely help a turtle cross the road. I have a beautiful snapping turtle here, and he's just about to cross the road. I'm going to show you exactly. Always approach a snapping turtle from behind, never from the front. So I'm going to use what I call the pizza lifting method. I'm going to go behind the turtle, put my hand on his shell, raise him up, and slide my hand underneath to support all of his weight. As you can see, my hand is safely away from the snapping turtle, staying away from the business end, and the business end is his head, and my hand is underneath his belly. So I'm supporting all of his weight on the plastron. Now I'm going to release the snapping turtle, and we're going to do that one more time. Approach the snapping turtle, 2 hands. One, you're going to grab here, right over top of the left hind leg, grab, slide underneath, and lift at the same time. Always carry the snapping turtle with his head pointed away from you. Always take a turtle in the direction that the turtle was facing. You do not want to turn the turtle around and take it back to the pond. They know where they want to go and the reasons why. Now, this time of year, they're looking for mates, or they're traveling to their summer residence. So always take them in the direction that they're facing, just safely across the road, put them on the other side. Now there is one more method that I'm going to show you. I'm going to approach the snapping turtle. This is 2 hands, approach it, and the only place that you're going to put your hands on the snapping turtle is at the back, over top of their 2 hind legs. So I'm going to approach the snapping turtle now, always from behind. My hands are going to go right here, grab, and lift like that. So you can see my hands are safely out of the way. Carry the turtle across, put him on the side of the road in the direction that the turtle was heading. Always maintain your safety, always look both ways. Make sure there are no cars coming. Your safety comes first. Thank you.